Make sure everyone can get in here. Load them up. Load them up. What a half. Make sure we're going live on all our platforms. All right, let everyone get in here. More than welcome to comment, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Hey, Zeke. Man, oh, man. We'll start with Casey. Dominique Johnson. That might be the best Kendall Briles play call that he has dialed up since he's been in Arkansas. You have KJ Jefferson lined up under center, which I believe that's his first one he's done. Not just this game, but maybe this season. And the misdirection with everyone following the All-American Traylon Burks, Dominique Johnson sneaks out. I think he was in a fullback position and just sneaks into the end zone. What a play call. Bill says, how about the Hogs, Todd? Again, you can comment below. It's kind of similar to our Hog reaction, except there's no text or calls. You can just comment Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I'm going to be honest, I did not anticipate them coming out with this much energy. He didn't like what he saw at first. He had a 3 and out. There's a penalty, but it was equivalent in 3 and out. And then Texas gets forced into the same situation. But how about this Razorback defense? We have to remember that Bumper Pool was not playing the first half. Now they'll be back in the second. But they did all of that without one of their best running backs. Now I agree with Joseph. You've got to take advantage of these change of possessions. This defense is playing lights out. They're going to give up some points in the second half. You have to turn these field goals into touchdowns. The first possession, they were in the red zone. They didn't take a shot at the end zone. I think they were just keeping it safe. But there's been several times, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4, and Arkansas hasn't been able to convert. You have to convert in the second half because the way Texas defense is playing, you've been able to a little bit. KJ Jefferson so far has looked very poised. I've been very impressed with his play. I think that he's just been the complete opposite of what he's in the first half against Rice. Give him a lot of credit. He is, let me look up these stats real quick. KJ right now, hold up. It's taking a while to load up the internet. If we look at KJ's stats, he is 12 for 15. 1 or 2 of those have been drops. He has been precise tonight. Absolutely precise. And this is a question. They haven't really gone deep to this point. Ross asked that question. I think it's a fair question. For the most part, I don't know if KJ has been sacked tonight. I have to go back and double check, but the offensive line has done a pretty good job for the Razorbacks, not just run blocking, but pass blocking as well. Right now, Arkansas has 146 rushing yards. 146. If you said, Ty, you have an opportunity to have 146 rushing yards in the first half, you take that. Again, you can feel free to comment here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We're rolling about it. Let's see what we got. John Ellis in the house. No, I don't know. Who was the one that commented about the punt? I just missed that. Let's see. Matt comments about the punt. What a critical play in the game. Arkansas goes 3 and out. Texas goes 3 and out. They punt it. Just muffs the punt. He's backing up. It felt like Reggie Fish. Did anyone else feel it was Reggie Fish-esque when he muffed that punt? Luckily, Arkansas had the favor with him. He stepped out of bounds. The Texas player, I believe, stepped out of bounds as well. Man, Scott brings up a good point. This defensive line has been getting after Hudson Card. Now, if you watch Clay or Tom or Bob, one of these guys can break a tray. One of these guys can break it down a lot better schematically than me. They run it a lot of 3-down linemen. So there's been times where they haven't gotten pressure. When they brought pressure, when they brought Grant Morgan, when they brought Peyton Henry, they've been able to get to Hudson Card. Hudson Card tonight, 4 for 8, only 39 yards. They've been trying to run the ball. Bijan Robinson, he's averaging less than 4 yards a carry right now. 10 carries, 38 yards. Now, I think Steve Sarkisian is going to come out in the second half with a strong game plan. I think Arkansas has to bring the same intent. Joseph, you bring something up that I've been sitting next to a couple guys up here in the press box talking about. John Ridgeway, he's had a sack tonight. He's been all over the place. He might have a tackle for loss as well. I know he's been in the backfield a couple times. So far, now he's not Jonathan Marshall. I think we've already discussed that, but he has definitely played that type of mentality. Now, Casey brings up that this game feels like LSU. Now, if you remember that LSU game back in 2014, Arkansas ended up being the 17th team in the country, broke a 17-game losing streak, and beat them 17-0. There's 3 17s. Now, those were the 3 17s. So far, Arkansas defensively has been lights out. And again, the addition of Bumper Pool in the second half is going to be too cute. Charlie, you say what a lot of people said. You've got to score touchdowns. You've got to put the ball in the end zone. We know teams in this series where Arkansas has outplayed Texas the majority of the football game, not just the first half. But they have to be able to convert on these possessions. Roderick brings up that Barry Odom is an NFL caliber coach. There is a reason that Texas went after him to be the defensive coordinator, because it displays like that in the first half. Jalen Catalon he's been impactful, but it's just been a team effort. I thought last week was more of an individual effort from Jalen Catalon, but this team defensively tonight has been special. Now, we know there's a complete half of football. All you have to do is look to last week and realize there is a complete new half of football. And Big brings up, he's calling Bumper Pool the Kraken. Well, the Kraken's going to be back in the second half. And how about this? We haven't talked about this yet. How about Hunter Yurichek's son, Jake, blocking that punt? So go back to that sequence. For what it looked like, y'all tell me, it didn't look like a bad snap. It just looked like the Texas punter muffed the snap and hit him right in the hands. He muffed it. Jake, from a IQ standpoint, great job on his part, runs after it, charges it, and gets the block. And then Mateo Soli catches it out of midair and goes a couple yards. He didn't make it that far, but heads up play for both Jake Yurichek and Mateo Soli. So a great possession just by them in Arkansas again, but they weren't able to turn that into points. You've got to be able to turn that into a touchdown. Got to turn that into a touchdown. They haven't been able to do that.
Ty's rapid reaction is the best.
Thanks, Trey. What a scene. They'll have to adjust with KJ's legs. Might open up the opportunity for the game. Listen, KJ running the ball he's 7 for 59, averaging 8 yards per carry in the first half. And that's going to, I think, continue to open up the entire offense when he makes plays with his legs. He's fired up, but I can't give him enough credit. The first half he played, didn't make a mistake, if not for that Texas player making a great play in the back of the end zone, that's a touchdown to Mr. Traylon Burks. He misses it just by an inch. The guy gets a fingertip on it, but it is a 60-minute football game, as Steve brings up. 60 minutes, you got to go close in the second half. That's going to do it for here on Rapid Reaction. Remember, Hog Reaction with Zach Arns and Derek Ruskin is going to be following the Learfield postgame. Remember that. It'll be right here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also, all over ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com, the TuneIn app as well. Tomorrow, myself and John David White, we're getting up early for y'all. We got to record that podcast at 9 o'clock. Huddle up. We're also going to have Dr. Joel in from Orthopedics. He's going to kind of run through some injuries that have impacted Arkansas and just go through all of that. But again, keep it right here, ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. Sync up your television to Chuck and Quinn so you can hear the best duo in not just Razorback, but college sports. So that's going to do it for me. Let's have a good